bitch, you a bird, you thigh, you learn, you see, I earn, you stop. A word, I shoot, no rim, I'm high, you burn, I'm me, that's him, you nah, that's word.
Mike Owens here. Today I'm joined by Max Choriev, who returns to action May 10th, facing Darian Weeks. Max, great to sit down and chat. How are things for you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you for asking. I imagine the vibe in the gym is pretty good at the moment with the boys on the UFC St. Louis card, and obviously with yourself on Friday night. What is Murcielago MMA looking like right now?
It's nice. Everybody's fighting, so we're at our hometown, so it's nice. It's overall nice. It's comforting. We're at our home, so it is nice.
And your last fight was in September, memory serves. So how excited are you to make your return?
Oh, I've been excited. I've been trying to get a fight since January, but haven't had any luck finding opponents. So getting back here in May, especially in my hometown, it's very exciting. It's been a while. I miss it.
Was the reason for the layoff just simply you couldn't get any opponents to fight you? Was that the main reason?
Yeah, that was the main reason. I got a little bit of shoulder injury back in my last fight, and that's all healed up. But actually, I was planning to fight in January, February, March, April, but finding opponents was an issue.
Is that something you've struggled with throughout your career?
Oh yeah, I've been having that issue for a while. That's one of the reasons I made a move to Michigan, was to possibly get more fights here or regional, local states here from Michigan. But yeah. I'm having the same issue I had before.
100%. Well, you've now got an opponent Friday night, Darian Weeks, UFC vet. Give me your scouting report on your next test.
Oh, he's a UFC vet, so it's gonna be a good fight for me. Statistically, stylistically, we're a good matchup in my opinion. He just walks forward. I move a lot. I cut in more angles than he does. I feel like I'm better rounded than he is, and I believe I'm gonna finish him in no later than the second round.
Where do you look at this fight for the key areas for you to exploit?
So he doesn't do much. He just walks. He's just a high on pressure. So like me being I like to cut different angles, and I'll create an opening for him where he just lets his guard down. Then I'm gonna take advantage of that and finish him. So, yeah.
For those who maybe haven't seen you fight yet, can you give us your own description what your fighting style looks like in your opinion?
I'm an elusive fighter. I'm well rounded. Technically I'm there. I'm a little smaller for my weight class, but I make up by strength and skill. So overall, I would say I'm a very elusive, skilled fighter.
You mentioned there as well, Darian Weeks, obviously a UFC vet. That's gonna be the biggest scope on your career if you can get that name on your record. How much do you think that will do for the short-term future of your career?
So it would mean a lot to me because a lot of people don't think I have fought tough opponents. All my fights I've fought, and I have 90% of I have finished. So people that when I finished Darian, it shows that I'm UFC level fighter. Because he's been in the UFC, he fought Ian Gary, he fought a couple of good guys, and if I finish him, it shows that I belong with those big names.
Is that what you would look for next? Some kind of contender series type call up, or do you plan to take it slow and still build your skills in this early stage of your career?
Right now, I would like to get signed by the UFC as soon as possible, really. But if I get a nice little finish with this fight and possibly get signed, if not, I will have to go through contender series, try to get a contract through that. But ideally, with this fight, if I get a nice little flashy KO, I could possibly get a contract with the UFC.
Do you think having teammates in the UFC, the likes of Joaquin Buckley, the likes of Charles Johnson, do you think that's any help in any way? Because obviously they've gone and done their things. Do you think there's any kind of crossover there, possibly?
It gives me confidence. It's I train with those guys, and I hold myself up with them. So with that being said, it gives me confidence. If I can keep up with these guys, I know I can keep up with any other fighter. And Joaquin is being a number 11 in UFC. It does give me confidence.
Are those guys role models to you? Are they kind of those role model figures in the gym as kind of the UFC guys?
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, I do look up to those guys. I mean, they have come far, and sometimes you need some other fighters to keep you up. Sometimes you're not gonna feel like, especially me not able to find opponents. You know, it just gets to you mentally. Sometimes you're like, damn, what's going on? I feel like I'm wasting time. But like those guys that've been through it, they can tell you that like, hey, it's part of the journey. You know, just enjoy it, take your time, don't rush it. So they can, you know, they're like an older brother to me. So they can give me that input I need.
Why do you think you struggle to find opponents? I mean, it always baffles me that you struggle to get other professionals in the cage with other professionals. What do you think the key reason for that is?
It's so as a pro, I'm 4-0 now. Like I'm a elusive fighter, and I have finished all my fights as a pro. Like, you know, so like, to me, like it doesn't make sense for people to take the risk of losing a fight, and the reward isn't there. You know, like if I had a good record, like a 10-0, they'd be like, oh yeah, I just beat a 10-0 guy, but like it's a higher chance of them losing than winning. So they're like, the risk and reward doesn't add up, in my opinion. So they're just like, it's not worth it, you know.
100%, 100%. You're obviously in a very early stage of your career. Is there a fighter throughout history, maybe you're still fighting now, or a guy that you look at or you kind of model yourself on, whether that be your actual fighting style or the way you conduct yourself as a fighter? Is there somebody who would be your key role model if you had to give me a name?
Key role model, outside the cage and like discipline wise, it'd be Khabib. Number one, Khabib, because he's like he holds himself up to the public's eye like very high, and also like he's a very disciplined individual, you know. But like Connor or Hamzat Chimaev, they're flashy fighters, you know. They're the people going excited about them. They go to the fight like, oh dude, they're fighting, let's get it. I like those guys. Different fighters have their own little fight, you know, I like to look up from, but my main guy would be Khabib. Khabib's very humble, on to the point, you know. So like that's my number one guy. But then there's some other fighters too, but they're not that. To me, they don't come off as like, as you know, warm. It doesn't come off warm to me.
Is it important for you to be an entertainer? I mean, I speak to a lot of guys who say it's just about getting the win. Some guys say, you know, it's an entertainment business. People are here to watch me fight. Does that concern you at this stage of your career?
There's a time and a place for it. Like early in my career, like I just need to get like make it a little entertaining, but I also gotta win. Winning comes number one, you know. Because if you're not winning, you're gonna be left behind. Simple as that. But if you win and you're a little flashy and people like you, that's even better, you know. But winning is more important than being like showboat, like being a showman, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Knockout or submission? Which is your preference?
Either or. I would like to get a knockout. I never got a cold knockout before, but I would love to have one. I am a hard puncher. If I land a clean shot, I'll put somebody out for sure. But ideally knockout, but submission, I'll take a submission to any day.
It's funny I mentioned your teammate Buckley. I actually met him up in Vegas for UFC 300. We actually did some filming there, and I asked him I didn't ask him the question, but I've been asking a lot of people the question about where Max Holloway's last second KO ranks in the greatest knockouts in MMA history. So I'd like to know, give me your top 5 best knockouts in MMA history.
Top 5. Number 1 would be Buckley's fight. You know, obviously because of the knockout of the year. Number 2, I would say who? Mike Chandler versus Tony Ferguson. That was a nasty knockout. Like I thought Tony died. I felt kind of bad for the dude. Second one, who? Holloway. I say the third one would be Holloway against Gaethje. Fourth would be Usman and Kamaru. Kamaru Usman versus Leon. That would be 4th. The last one would have to be when Gaethje knocked out Poirier. Yeah, that would be my 5th one. I was not expecting that one. You know, that was my top 5.
What makes a great knockout, in your opinion? I mean, there's a lot of aspects to it. It can be the context of how early or late in the fight it was. It can be, you know, an acrobatic moment like we saw with Buckley. It can be a lot of things. What makes a great knockout, in your opinion?
What makes a great knockout is like unexpectancy. I think that's what makes a knockout great. The unexpectancy, or that you're expecting it. You know, you're just waiting to happen. You're sitting at the edge of your seat. You're like, oh, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? But then you get the knockout, or other way around. You get knocked out, and then like, oh shit. And, you know, people are like, oh my god, wasn't expecting that. So yeah, the unknown, more like the unknown makes it a great knockout.
You obviously have your fight on Friday night, and then I'm sure your attentions and the gym's attentions will turn to Saturday in St. Louis. Are you playing any role in terms of training partner or cornerman or anything like that in Charles or Joaquin's fights?
As of right now, Joaquin's been in St. Louis for the past month, getting his camp over there. Since it's a hometown fight, he wanted to make it a hometown training, so he's been training with those guys in St. Louis. I'm still in Michigan. But I haven't had the opportunity to train with Buck for this fight. But I know he's gonna do well. He trained home before. I trained with them. I know how the training is over there, and I think he'll do great in that fight. So looking forward to that fight.
I've never asked him this question, but I'm interested to know: has he ever thrown that spinning kick in the training room?
Oh yeah, he does all the time.
Really?
You might not like it, he does it all the time.
Wow.
Actually, I started training when I was about 15 and he was about 18. He's been throwing it since like a beginning of time, since I know him, like on the heavy bag. You know, he just likes flashy moves. As you know, Joaquin, he's a flashy guy, so he likes to show off the skills. So he's been doing it for a long time, since I know him, really.
So if Buckley's signature move is the spinning kick, then what's Max Choriev's signature move?
People haven't seen it. It's the hook. I'm a vicious with my hooks. So quick, fast, hard, like left hook or right hook. Like I'm pretty solid with my hooks.
I like it. A couple more from me, man, and thank you for the time. You get the win Friday night, as I'm sure you're preparing for and you expect. What would you like for the next 12 months of your career? Where would you like to be, let's say, the 1st of May, 2025?
I would like to be in the UFC. I would like the UFC have a couple fights under my belt for the UFC lights,
So one final one from me, and you can be as brief or as detailed as you like with this one. I'd like to know, give me a walkthrough of the perfect fight day on Friday. I want to know what happens when you wake up in the morning to when you go to sleep at night in a perfect world.
Okay, first of all, I like to weigh in the day before. After I weigh in, I like to go out, eat, then sleep. I love to sleep. I like to sleep in. I'm probably going to sleep until like 11 o'clock. Then get up, get a nice little breakfast. Get a little, around like 1 o'clock, get a little nice little cardio in, open up my lungs. Then hang out with my friends. I have my family members that I haven't seen in a while. Hang out, and around 4 or 5 o'clock, start heading to the fights, check in at the fights, and just, hang out with the people, my coaches, my team, and get ready for a fight. Get around like 2 hours before the fight, just dial in, tunnel vision, get ready, what I'm going to do, what I'm planning to do, just like everything mental, get my mental right, like 2-3 hours before the fight. And as the fight comes in, I'll walk up, I'll visualize me walking up, and like what I'm going to do, how I'm going to perform, what I'm going to punch I'm going to throw, what kicks I'm going to throw, just like visualize more than anything, really. So then go out there and just perform.
I love it. I love it.
Perfect.
Max, great to sit down and chat. Really nice to meet you today. I was looking forward to getting you on. You've been a guy that obviously Joaquin and Charles have mentioned to me, so excited to chat with you today, and I truly wish you the best of luck for Friday night.
Thank you so much for your time and for the interview. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Hey, this is another step for me to get to the UFC and become the UFC champ. Today is the third 3-0 today. More wins to come.